12 Ways to Influence People. These are timeless principles from Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Hi friend, welcome to my channel. The best way to get something out of an argument is to just avoid it. A great way to stop a disagreement from turning into an argument is through summarization. While having a heated argument or discussion, make a rule. And that rule should be, before you can proceed, you have to summarize back to the other person and to their liking, their argument. This gives them a chance to correct you if you misunderstood what they were saying. And this also stops you from being able to strawman their argument just to make them look stupid. Repeating the other person's argument back to them shows them that you were really listening and you understood what their point was. This also allows you to be more empathetic with your argument. This allows both sides to feel heard. It also forces you to try and understand the other person's perspective. If done correctly, this should leave both parties feeling more empathetic for each other's point of view and leave everybody feeling heard and respected, even if nothing is ever actually agreed upon. Show respect for the other person's point of view. Never say you're wrong. Don't argue with your customer or your spouse or your adversary. Show respect for their opinions. If the other person doesn't feel respected, then they'll quickly learn to resent you. You don't want to create enemies haphazardly, and not respecting their opinions is a sure way to do that. In the words of Martin Luther King, I judge people by their principles, not my own. If you're wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. Peak rush hour in LA on a sunny afternoon. I'm detained on the sidewalk, my car is on a tow truck. A Beverly Hills cop just told me that my car was going to be impounded for the next 30 days. As my mind panicked and raced, thinking about the fate of my beloved car, I could have protested the seemingly stiff punishment the motorcycle cop gave me for speeding. Or I could own the fact that I played a part in my predicament and admit my wrongdoing immediately and sincerely. I chose the latter. 2 hours later at the impound lot, I was back in my car. I have no doubt that showing empathy and admitting my wrongdoing immediately, despite the overwhelming fear and anger I was feeling, led to the police officer ultimately releasing my car 30 days early. Quoting the book, by fighting, you never get enough, but by yielding, you get more than you expected. Begin in a friendly way. By starting a conversation with an open mind and in a friendly manner, you allow the opportunity for a bridge to exist between you and the other person. That friendliness is the first step in building respect. Without that respect, you can't build trust. And without having any trust, you can't make any meaningful steps towards resolving a disagreement. Abraham Lincoln said, "A drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gall." I don't know who was measuring their gall, but apparently Abraham Lincoln was. Get the other person saying yes immediately. In talking with people, don't start with all the points you disagree with. Start with all the points that you do agree with. Make them realize how much you do have in common and understand that you're both working towards the same meaningful goal. Keep emphasizing how much you actually have in common, because often people are striving for the same end but disagree on how to get there. This is very apparent in modern politics. I would argue that Republicans and Democrats agree on 95% of the issues that they're talking about, but they're hung up on the final 5% of how to actually deal with it. If politicians and media focused on all the points of alignment, there might be a better discourse about how to deal with the divisive 5% of methodology. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. Most people try to win people to their way of thinking by talking too much. Let the other people talk themselves out. They know more about their business and their problems than you do. So ask them questions. Let them tell you a few things. If you disagree with them, you might be tempted to interrupt, but don't. It's dangerous. They won't pay attention to you while they still have a lot of ideas of their own crying out for expression. So listen patiently and with an open mind. Encourage them to divulge their ideas and their expressions. So listen patiently and with an open mind. Encourage them to explore their ideas. In my experience, when I let people confide their thoughts and accomplishments in me, they're often far more receptive to my own. In the end, both people feel heard. Let the other person feel as if the idea is his or hers. Do you have more faith in ideas that you discovered or ideas that were told to you? If so, wouldn't it make sense to allude to those conclusions and let the other person put the puzzle pieces together? They are far more likely to take ownership of the idea if they think the idea is their own. They are also far more likely to bring it to its full conclusion if they believe the idea is their own. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Brené Brown talks a lot about the power of empathy and leadership. Putting yourself in the shoes of the other person and seeing the world through their eyes. Trying to understand the motivations of other people will give you a lot of insight into who they are and why they do what they do. This exercise also makes you a wiser and more tolerant person. Having the ability to see a situation from your perspective as well as another person's is one of the most fundamentally important things you can do as a leader, as a negotiator, communicator, a partner, or just a friend. I think this is one of the most fundamentally understated things you can do regardless of your position or place in life. The concept of seeing the world through your opponent's eyes is very difficult, but it's a worthwhile practice and it can be learned. Be sympathetic with other people's ideas and desires. A magic phrase for stopping arguments is, "I don't blame you for how you feel. If I were you, I would undoubtedly feel the same way." This will soften any argument you might find yourself in. Sympathy is something humans universally crave. That's why people use accidents and illnesses to try to make a connection between one another. Self-pity for misfortunes is almost universally practiced. It's that longing for a sympathetic connection. Try your best to be understanding. Appeal to nobler motives. When eBay was founded in 1995, the expectation was that all the sellers were going to scam the buyers with broken goods, and all the buyers were going to scam the sellers with bad checks. In this early era of the internet, nobody really knew how this marketplace was going to play out. As it turned out, sellers didn't sell broken merchandise, and buyers weren't writing bad checks. The company quickly became one of the largest online marketplaces. eBay's worth over $37 billion today. eBay is an example of when in doubt, it's better to assume that the other person that you're dealing with is truthful and honest. There are a relative few that are an exception to that rule, but they are out there. Dramatize your ideas. A great storyteller is a walking cinema. By learning the skill and craft of storytelling, you can make anyone listen anywhere as you talk about almost anything, and people will be interested. There's a reason why stories can live on for thousands of years. It's some of the oldest information we have about human society. A great book for improving your storytelling skills is Storyworthy by Matthew Dix. I put a link down below if you're interested. Throw down a challenge. Concrete goals with measurable rules, goals that fit the player's capabilities, clear and timely feedback, and eliminating all distractions equals cognitive flow. Within a flow state, the following phenomenon are experienced. 1. Extreme focus on a task. 2. A sense of active control. 3. A merging of action and awareness. 4. A loss of self-awareness. 5. The distortion of the experience of time. And 6. The experience of the task being the only justification for the continuation of it. By turning your goals into a game, it's a great way to motivate yourself and other people. Everyone loves a good game. It feels good to know that you're making progress towards something that you value. There's a reason why video games are so much more engaging than so many other forms of media. The Game of Business is a good resource to look at. Link for that's also down below. Okay, what do we got? The only way to get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. 2. Always show respect for the other person's opinions and never say you're wrong. 3. If you're wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. 4. Begin in a friendly way. 5. Get the other person saying yes immediately. 6. Let the other person do a great deal of the talking. 7. Let the other person feel as if the idea is his or hers. 8. Try to see things from the other person's point of view. 9. Be sympathetic towards other people's ideas and desires. 10. Appeal to nobler motives. 11. Dramatize your ideas. 12. Throw down a challenge. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and you would like to watch more, here is my latest video, and please subscribe to the channel.